How lethal can fatal blows be? As you know, in Mortal Kombat 1, fatal blows are pretty lethal. The type of lethal you honestly would not survive. But as I explored the characters, fatal blows, surprisingly, there's actually some that I think you would survive, even if it would be at a hefty cost. But you live, so let's see it. First up is I purposely picked Madame Bo as a cameo in order to attempt to give the characters a chance to not fall on just to not have a lethal fatal blow, just to give the characters that chance, even if Tanya didn't really get that chance at all. Just impale that guy's head. Moving on. I mean, having a grenade explode in your body, that wouldn't really go well whatsoever. Even if it's only a smoke grenade, you gotta think about the fragments. Depending where it's located, which seems like if it's around the ribs, maybe it could hit the heart. It could probably hit the intestines too. And then it can cause internal bleeding, and then you're gonna be wondering why. I don't know, maybe cough out blood or something. Then that stab to the head really did it. So compared to a slow death, then, well, you was not surviving that. You'd live just with severe consequences. Now, considering that the leg tendon has just been just separated, then yeah, I don't know if you're gonna be able to walk again. Maybe you could with some with surgery, but I honestly don't know. You'd live. Your head, you just probably have to worry about your skull breaking, which I honestly don't. I mean, it could crack, but I don't think it's gonna entirely break. Then you also have to worry about your legs too, but I think you could pull through. We all will be able to pull through unless we have, I don't know, fragile bones or something. Do I even need to say anything? You're not surviving that whatsoever. Just know. It's a stab to the head. You would have died regardless. That's damage to the brain. Then you sit there and bleed out. You wouldn't survive. Alright, we're moving on.
Finally.
You'd think that since Raiden isn't a god anymore, then you wouldn't be having such a crazy fatal blow. No, that's not the case. You would absolutely not survive that at all. If the fall didn't kill you, then then your ribs being broken. You would have survived that, but it's just like, just know that fall plus the initial start of you being electrocuted. Yeah, I'm sorry, buddy, you're not surviving. None of us are surviving that at all. And then Raiden says finally too, like, jeez Louise, that guy sounds like I don't know, a psychopath or something. Y'all figure out the word for it. You absolutely will be hurt. You will be hurt. But this is one of the few cases where a fatal blow isn't fatal, like that fatal. You would survive it if you went to the hospital. I'm not gonna lie. You would. If the hospital didn't exist, you might. I don't know, because your skull, it depends how hard Johnny would hit your forehead. If it hits so hard to the point that your skull cracks or break, if your skull cracks or breaks, yeah, you might be in trouble. But this is one of the few cases where I think you could actually survive it, because this is not like, he smashes the camera down on your ribs, you'll be fine. You just had to get that. You had to get your head treated, and then your ribs, and then maybe like after a month or so, you'll be back on the streets with doing whatever you have to do. Yeah. Thank you, Johnny, for being so merciful. If Salazar didn't bite the head, this actually would have been survivable. But it's not. I mean, obviously, that fatal blow require a hospital because you just got slammed like 3 times in a row. But then that bite to the head really did it. So, yeah. Yeah. It's unfortunate, but it's the truth. Yeah, you're not surviving that. You saw the whole thing, you're not surviving that. Move on. Go on. So, speaking of moving on, we're actually not going to be doing that today. Why? Because this is the end of part 1. If you want a part 2, you're either going to wait a couple days for it, or you're going to wait until tomorrow, depending on if I remember and if I feel like doing it. Because you gotta see, you gotta know that every single time I have to go into one of those matches, I have to program the Terminator to just spam uppercuts and run at me and then stand still briefly so I could get a fatal blow in without being punished. So, y'all have a nice day. Thank you for seeing this video.